What's going, everybody? I'm your boy Pitts from Bowie TV, aka Pitt Sports Zone. Also coming to you from Pitts and Push Sports Talk Radio. We want to keep our HBCU softball cycle going. We got a good one today for you. We got Coach Ricky Holden. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. How you?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And as you guys, some of you may not know, but Coach Holden is the head coach for Claflin University, who who played in the CIAA softball championship again this year. And I say again, hyphenate, but we're going to get into again later. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. No problem. No issues. Just relaxing, man. Off season.
Let's. I'm starting to learn that I don't know if there's really a such thing as an off season.
Nah, it's just not a lot of thinking season. Like it's
Okay,
it's a more laid back, but it's never stopped. It's just laid back a little bit.
you said the grind don't stop.
No, it don't stop.
All right, so before we jump in, we're gonna go ahead and break you off with a couple icebreakers. Well, what is your favorite food, Coach?
Right now my favorite food, I will always say hibachi.
You said right
Uh,
now.
right now, like I love macaroni and cheese. Like you can never get rid of macaroni and cheese. Like that's
Okay.
that soul food meal. But like any day, anytime you want hibachi, I'm gonna say yes.
Oh, absolutely. Who's passing up hibachi? The,
Like,
the shrimp and chicken or the scallops?
well, it depends on the location. Though everybody don't season the scallops right, so they can't mess up the shrimp and chicken.
Absolutely. Agreed. Okay. So, all right. So hibachi for now. All
For
right. And
now,
then what's your favorite color?
my favorite color is gonna be black.
Okay. All right. Favorite color is black. And lastly, do you have a favorite NFL team?
NFL team. I grew up only knowing about the Cowboys.
Ugh,
Right? That's what I know. But
I got you.
I'm I'm a I'm like I love the sport. Like I love good teams. Like I like look good put together teams.
Yeah.
End of the day, like Mike Thomas is probably my favorite coach. But I like what the Eagles do and how they run
Okay.
their system. Like it's a lot of things I like from different teams, but if I had to pick a team, I'm still gonna stick with the Cowboys, even though they make me mad.
I got you.
But they're still my team. But I just love the sport itself.
And I could understand that, man. And you know, the fact that you said Mike Tomlin is your favorite coach, I throw everything else out the. You got a plus in my book.
Yeah, I got you. I know you're Pittsburgh.
Everything. So, all right. So let's go ahead and jump into it, Coach Holden. Uh,
Let's go.
Before we get into the season, let's let our viewers and listeners, learn a little bit more about yourself, right? So
All right.
prior to your attention, North Carolina A&T, right, or North Carolina Central, right?
Mm-hmm.
You attended the Air Force,
Yes.
right? So first off, thank you for your service, man. Definitely appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
And in the Air Force, when did you start playing baseball, or when did you begin your I would say your career when it comes
I
to
started
playing coach?
playing baseball when I was little. It really, my mom tells me the story when she was pregnant with me. She was pregnant playing softball up till she was 7 months pregnant. So like it's always been in there. Like my dad played baseball. I grew up with the old heads, just playing
Yeah.
baseball, softball. So like it was just what I always did. Right after high school, it was like I grew up in a small town, so it was like I really don't want to go to college, even though I got the grades. I want to work. I want to make money. Like that was my mindset. Like, yeah, I could play sports, but I grew up I seen my dad work, provide, do these things. So like my mindset was like, yeah, I could play sports, but I want to make money.
Okay.
And it took me a minute to decide what I actually wanted to do. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the military because I need to grow. Like I need to figure out how to do this on my own.
Yeah.
And when I talked to my recruiter, told him about what I do and everything with sports in high school, he was like, "Well, you can still go to the military and still play." And I
Right.
was like, what? He was like, yeah, you still can play. So when I joined the Air Force, I joined the Air Force in 2008. My first duty station, I was back in North Carolina at Fort Bragg.
Okay.
And that's when I started playing baseball for the Air Force once I got done basic training and everything. I want to say from 2000 up to 2010, I went overseas to Turkey
Okay.
and learned about men's fast pitch softball.
Mm.
It's kind of like
Intense.
the women's fast pitch, but you're talking about bigger fields. Like it's a baseball field, but this is a whole nother level of the ball coming way faster.
Right.
Just different mindset, but like learning the game on that level of playing men's fast pitch compared to baseball. Like it was just different, but it helped me learn the softball on the women's side faster than just trying to say, oh, well, I play baseball, so it's the same. It's not the
Right.
same. You got the same things, but it's really not the same.
Right.
And then of course, like I did the overseas experience. Like I played in Turkey, I played in Italy, I played in Germany, I played in Japan. Like I traveled in the military playing this, but I
Wow.
also learned structure. Like I deployed, I've been to Afghanistan, I've been to Iraq, like in wartime.
Right.
I had to take leadership classes. Like I developed on so many levels of who I am as a man, but
Yeah.
also athletic side of things, and just taking it and growing with it. I got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Once I
Okay.
got out the military, it was more so of like, all right, what do I want to do with this? I ended up going into the mental health field. So I
Okay.
became a mental health counselor, learned that side of the business of knowing, all right, well, if you can learn the mental, everything else follows. Like
Right.
getting from there. And then I still wasn't like I started coaching travel, AAU softball travel. And I did that like okay, I was like, all right, this is what I really want to do. Like I really want to stay in athletics.
Okay.
So I went back to North Carolina Central, got my master in kinesiology, and my overall goal was like I'm either gonna be a collegiate coach or I'm gonna be an athletic director. Somehow,
Okay.
some way, this is what I want to do.
Okay.
And like I've been coaching softball since 2017. So once I finished my master's degree, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do nothing else but sports. That's it. And that's where I went. I took it from there and like stayed focused with it.
How much of the experiences that you learned overseas and the leadership that you learned while in the military do you carry that into not your style of coaching, but like some of the things that you may have learned that you may implement into your leadership that you may expect from your teammates or leaders on your softball team, or some things that you may do with your team.
Gotcha. More so like the structure, like time management. Like it helped me learn the balance of what is the standard.
Okay.
This is the standard, and that's it. It's across the board. There's no favoritism. This is what we got in place, and everybody should be able to live up to the standard. Standard is baseline. Everything you do outside of that, that's extra. That's going above and beyond the standard. Like, and you can always see who does it. So, like my leaders, if you want to be a leader, you always have to one meet the standard, but you got to implement the standard and hold everybody accountable to the standard because that's just what I know. That's the discipline side of it. If the others falling behind, that's your fault. You're the
Yeah.
leader.
Right.
It's like taking that role of, hey, I'm the good guy and the bad guy. That's what comes with being a leader. Like,
Yeah.
and a lot of people just see the good. It's a lot of bad to go with it.
Right.
Even with the conditioning that I do, like I learned, like you can do basic conditioning and strength stuff that implements to help you on the softball side and getting you stronger, but also the mental part of it. Like the military taught me adversity. It taught
Yeah.
me adapting. Like I've been to so many countries, I had to adjust to what that standard was, what those laws was, like just going on the fly. Like it just knowing how to take the moment, dissect the moment, and go.
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? So we'll jump into your coaching. Um, how did it become? Because you were coaching at North Carolina Central, and then the head coach for
North Carolina
Claflin.
A&T.
I mean North Carolina A&T, and then you were the head coach for Claflin. He left, and he got another job, and then you came in. Was coaching? I know you said that coming out of the military, you said that being around athletics was something that you wanted to do. So if you weren't coaching a team, you wanted to be an athletic director. When it came to the Claflin job, how excited was you for that opportunity when it arose?
Man, I was like, after coaching at North Carolina A&T, being the assistant coach, it was like, all right, y'all really, really want to do this. Like being at A&T when I got there, like the record, I think the conference was like 3-21.
Mm,
We finished. I was like, hey, we should be able to make conference. That was a
right.
goal. We made the conference tournament, and it lets me know like this is what I really, really wanted to do where I'm at right now. So like when I applied to Claflin, I got the interviews and everything, and it was like a waiting phase. Like I had to just wait and just keep the belief. And I want to say probably December 22nd, like it was right before Christmas. The AD called me and was like, "Hey, we bringing you in." Like it was like a a breath of fresh air. Like it was, I was so relieved, like, but so excited at the same time. Like yo, this is really, really happening
Right.
for me at this stage of my life. Like it was a big surprise. And like I said, it was going into Christmas time into the New Year's. Like that's all I was thinking about. Like I'm about to be the head coach.
And when you talk about the AD, you're talking about Tony O'Neill. Shout out to Mr. O'Neill, the 2024 Athletic Director of the Year for the CIAA. Congrats to him for that.
And can't forget the associate and Miss Lee, SWA of the year.
Matisse.
Yes.
I was going to get to her next, but since you brought up the AD, I figured we'll go ahead and jump into his accolade of this year and congratulatories as well. As he received, like he's worked hard for it, right? But also, as you said, Matisse, Coach Matisse Lee, also
Yeah.
being named the Senior Associate Athletics Director, Senior Women Administration. So shout out to both of them on their accolades. There were a lot of accolades for Claflin this year.
Yes.
There were a lot of accolades, and before we get to the accolades of your players, let's talk about your players, right? Because you came into a team where they won the CIAA one year, then they lost the other year, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
have been to back-to-back CIAA championships. Then you come in, new coach, new system, or new leadership, right? Same standard, right?
Yes.
But then you go back to the CIAA championship, like, and then on top of that, you had 11 freshmen. Like,
Yes.
talk about the challenges, or were there any challenges with you coming in being a new head coach? The players having to learn you having to learn them, and but still being able to produce the same outcome on the field.
It was a big challenge, like 100%. Like, I came in January. When I came in, I had 4 weeks before the
Mm,
first game that was on the schedule.
okay,
That's 4 weeks of meeting them, learning their names, learning what position they play,
okay,
and just riding with it. Like, hey, this is the basic. I came into a great situation.
yeah,
Coach Gonzalez, Coach Arnold, who was here before, recruited great talent. 100%. You can't deny it. Like
yeah,
that
absolutely,
recruiting, bringing in 11 true freshmen to that level was like, I don't think people realize what they brought in. And just taking them and learning mindsets, learning how to get the adversity of, you got the upperclassmen adjusting to a new coach, to how I do things to
Yeah.
how I like to see my players do, what plays I like how I want us to play compared to what they done the past two
Right.
years when they already won. So it's like,
Right.
hey, this works because we seen it. And we got a new coach. If he ain't doing it this way, it might not work, but because we know what to expect. But it's also like understanding, like, hey, yes, I know y'all know this, but we're bringing in 11 freshmen who don't know. They got talent, but they
Right.
don't know. Like, they got to learn how to use that talent as a team thing. So I always say, you're an individual in a team sport. Everything has to mesh together. Everybody got a role. You got to figure out what their role is and accept it and be happy and knowing that whatever I'm doing is benefiting the team. Like I said, I had 4 weeks. Throughout the whole season, it was figuring out what works, who works well together, what batting order works together, who's good behind each other, like when to pitch, what pitcher, like scouting report, and just it was a lot thrown at one time. Outside of the part that the people who don't coach don't see is it's administration work to go behind this stuff. So staying in compliance, like making sure you got all the equipment, like it was a lot at just one time. But it's like, hey, you got to get this done. And I think, like I said, I think the military helped me with the adversity part. Like, I'm organized. These are my checklists. These are my to-do lists. This is what I need to do. My priority when I first got here was I need to learn my athletes. We'll
Yeah.
figure out how to win. But if I learn them and invest into them, I
Yeah.
would get full production out of them.
Yeah. And when you say, when you talk about that and you're learning them, being able to pull from them, establishing a relationship beyond the softball field, especially when you're talking about a coach and player and a new coach, right? Because you have five other players that was here who's been to the CIAA championship 2 years in a row. So, like you said, they may feel like, well, we don't need to change anything. Just leave it like it was. Whereas you're a new coach, you have 11 freshmen coming in. So there was a learning period. But I would say meeting you in Spartanburg, South Carolina, I didn't know at that point that you were new to Claflin. Because the way you communicate with your team and the way they respond back, it was almost as if you had been there the previous 2 years. So it speaks volumes to your leadership and your communication style, because your players, it appears that, well, not appears, because you guys went back to the championship this year, they bought into it immediately. So you should be definitely congratulated for that.
Appreciate
when
it.
when we talk about this year, let's take us through your when you talk about adversity. I think your team showed that in the CIAA championship this year, that regardless of the adversity, they always fought together.
Yeah. So
I
like,
think that reflects leadership.
yeah, it was a lot of times where like throughout the season, like we talked about just giving up. Like, don't just let somebody beat us. If they're gonna beat us, make them beat us. We're not just gonna give up. And we went through that battle of like, we in this situation again, and it's like getting to the point where they realize like we really can win. If
Yeah,
regardless of how this plays out, if we keep playing the way we play, we're gonna come out top. And it's like certain teams that we play in non-conference, we looked at like, we really beat them. Yeah, you really beat them. Like,
right.
you got to believe that you can do it. You can believe that this player is going to make this play, and we're going to make it happen. It's like I learned to always just keep that faith of it's going to turn out the way it needs to turn out. Like, if you give it all you got, that's it. That's all you got to do is and just keep that fight. And at some point, the momentum should change.
Yeah.
And that's what we went with, momentum.
And before I go back into talking about the CIAA championship run, your center fielder down. How is she doing?
She's good. Lauren Foster. So
Right.
a freshman. She actually she came in not starting. She earned that position. Like she one of those players and everybody at the tournament saw like, hey, she gives 100% no matter what.
Yes, she
That's
does.
her. Like that's that type of athlete
Yes.
of I'm gonna leave it all out here. And that's what she did. Like she left it all out there. But everything came back negative with concussion and everything, more just sore. But it was like I told her, I was like, I couldn't ask for nothing more. You gave me everything you had both
She did.
days. Like
She did.
it's just what it was. It was just one of those crazy plays that it
Yeah.
happens. It's just like now we know. But yeah,
Yeah.
she's doing very fine. And like first thing she said when I talked to her at the end of the season, like, I'm ready. Like, we got to get back because
Yeah.
I'm not done. Like,